Hello and welcome to The Big Fight. As China had celebrated the 60th anniversary of the People's Republic, in India there's a lot of attention being focused on China, not necessarily in the best of ways. There seems to be a certain amount of concern that's building up in some areas at least, as to what China's intentions are. Is it following an aggressive line or is it not, and what is the government doing about it? But then there's another view, equally strong perhaps, which says, well, this is just a media creation. It's a lot of hype over nothing, and why are we getting so excited? So is there any cause to get worried, or is there not? And if we should get worried, what should we do about it? That's going to be the subject of The Big Fight today. And let me welcome all the panelists we have with us. Manish Tiwari, spokesperson of the Congress Party. Great to have you with us. Chandan Mitra, senior leader of the BJP, and we're going to be talking to you about some of the comments coming from the BJP just today. Great to have you with us as well. Nilotpal Basu, Central Committee member of the CPIM. Brahma Chelani, Professor of Strategic Studies at the Center for Policy Research, one of the people who has been saying India needs to be very careful as to what's happening across the border on the Chinese side. And Gurcharan Das, the author of The Difficulty of Being Good, and we should ask you whether India should be good or not when it comes to China, and who's being good out here, and also what lessons perhaps we can draw from Yudhishthir in how to deal with China in this particular case. But I think it would suffice it to say that you seem to believe that business at the end of the day is what's going to count. Right, thank you all so much for joining us. But before we go any further, Chandan, Rajnath Singh saying that the government is being soft, the government is being weak, the Chinese are being hegemonistic, and he's bringing up the spectre of the 1962 war. Do you think it's going a little over the top?
Well, I don't think he talked about 1962 kind of situation developing just like that. He says
China continues its hegemonistic policy, a 62-like situation cannot be ruled out.
That's a very general statement. And yes, if China continues a hegemonistic policy, he's right to send a warning on this on these lines. But as of now, I wouldn't say the situation is similar to what happened in 62. But yes, China has been provoking us along the border, and the government's response has been to either completely downplay or dismiss it altogether.
Before I turn to what the government is doing about all this, the other view, which is also expressed this week, Prakash Karat expressing it, and then Buddhadev Bhattacharya also expressing it, essentially saying this is all, in a way, something which is being whipped up by the United States. The Chinese aren't doing anything wrong. This is all an American imperialist conspiracy. Let's just hear what Buddhadev Bhattacharya had to say about this.
Before in the history, in the recent past. Therefore, if India and China, which has emerged as important players, not only regionally but also globally, I mean, that is recognized in the new formation of G20, I mean, America stands to gain.
So the second view, that China is not actually doing anything wrong, the Americans, in a sense, are whipping this up. Manish Tiwari, what does the government of India believe, or the Congress Party?
Before I come to government of India and the Congress Party, whenever there's talk about Sino-Indian relations, my thought is drawn towards a very famous quote of John F. Kennedy. And he said that too often we enjoy the comfort of opinion without the discomfort of thought. Let's understand one thing very clearly. The 21st century is going to be shaped by the interplay of 5 Asian powers: the US, Russia, China, India, and Japan. And we have to...
an Asian power.
Well, in the sense, if you look at the entire bed of security alliances from Japan down to Australia, if you think that the US is not an Asian power, you're making a strategic blunder. So I think that
plays a role in Asia,
it should not be done.
It
should not be done. The second thing is that it is not only us who are...
Tuba.com